Through dirt and wood and stone and steel, the game persists. The meta heals. The weary world has done its time. The prince is come. The game is fine. We stand atop a pile of shattered swords, of broken dreams and severed cords. It's time to take away the sting. Abandon pride. Behold your king. Bowser Jr. is a better version of Steve. And I know that's not a very controversial or interesting take, but I want to talk about it anyway, because I know it's true. And even though everyone already agrees with me, occasionally I still run into the weird person who says that Steve is better than Bowser Jr. They say things like Bowser Jr. can't put blocks on the field, and how did you get in my house? But I think they're wrong. Steve uses a minecart, but he has to throw it away every time he uses it and then make a new one. And he always runs out of materials because he didn't come prepared. But Bowser Jr. is able to ride around in his car for as long as he wants, and he always has enough materials to make another one if he does need to throw it away. Also, Steve's TNT takes forever to explode, and Bowser Jr.'s TNT walks across the stage, so obviously that's better. And then we don't even think about Steve's Dare and how Bowser Jr.'s Up B is basically just a better version of that. Imagine dropping an anvil on someone, but then it explodes, and also you recover and get to hit someone with your hammer, while Steve has fallen off the stage and died because Bowser Jr. came prepared. And I know that everyone already agrees with me, but I went out and got some testimonials anyway from very real people, because I didn't make them up and I wanted their opinions to be heard too. Look at all those people on the screen. They're real people. So why, right? I mean, why is Bowser Jr.'s usage rate still so low if everyone already knows that he's better than Steve? There are 4 obstacles that every prince must face before becoming a king. These things block many from reaching the halls of enlightenment or from being otherwise exalted. By gaining the good graces of public opinion, Bowser Jr. has removed the first obstacle blocking him from his ascent. The next step is to look at his other obstacles and to see one by one how Bowser Jr. is tackling each of them. And then we'll show you how Bowser Jr. is the true king of Smash Bros. The first hurdle on Bowser Jr.'s path is ingenuity. From the carnage, made a tool. Used it to maintain his rule. Weapons to enhance his might. Held the meta by his right. Armor to protect from harm. Automatic firearm. Bent the world to his will. Now he's circling in for the kill. Bowser Jr. and Steve both live and die by their inventions. The Reddit post I looked at said that the hardest thing for Steve to craft was fireworks, or maybe a dispenser. But Bowser Jr. has invented multiple forms of interstellar travel and war machines and all sorts of different things to try and beat Mario. Not to mention that Bowser Jr. has his clown car, which fits more objects into the space than could exist and violates conservation of mass. Not to mention that Bowser Jr. is a lot younger than Steve. I mean, think about it. Steve woke up in the middle of nowhere one day, probably coming out of his midlife crisis. He doesn't have an education, he's just banging rocks together and hoping that he can make a pickaxe. Steve gets excited when he can make a simple circuit with redstone or when he can tame a parrot, but Bowser Jr. tames dragons and builds spacecraft. And even though everyone already agrees with me anyway, I just still feel like those people who don't need to realize that Steve hasn't actually invented very much at all. In fact, most of the cool items in Minecraft are things that you can only find and can never invent for yourself because Steve is a thief. Also, Steve's tools kind of suck. You maybe get 15 minutes of use out of them before they break completely and are just gone forever. And it's even less in Smash Bros, where they're being subjected to real wear and tear. Bowser Jr.'s tools last forever, and he knows when he can abandon his tools. He knows that sometimes he has to abandon ship. But Steve can never do that. He only ever abandons his tools when they break, and that makes him weaker when he does. When Bowser Jr. jumps ship, it's like a stance change. He is basically Pyramithra, but that's beyond the scope of this video. He gets a slender hitbox and he gets to use his big hammer attack to kill people by jumping past ledge, which Bowser Jr. players love to do. Steve just loses his attacks. So even though everyone already knew it, it's clear that Bowser Jr. is more ingenious than Steve. What's next? It's determination.
Troubles rise up from the earth. Upstarts who to prove their worth will claw and fight and rip and tear, scream and cry but never dare to face the king up on his throne. They learned not too long ago. Millions tried, he cleaved through more. None shall stop his holy war.
He is unrelenting, undying. He is a monolith who pursues his goals with utter focus and commitment and warps the entire world to his use. If he set his eye on you, you should enjoy the time you have left because he's coming and he will not stop. Steve, on the other hand, just does whatever he feels like. The Nether? Try making it through Bowser's castle, Steve. Bowser Jr. has been living there since he was an infant, and have you seen that place? If Steve so much as sees lava, he just leaves. He's not getting through there. Why does creative mode even exist? It's because Steve can't be bothered to do things right. Yeah, he beat the Ender Dragon. That's determined, but he only had to do that once. Bowser Jr. wakes up in the morning, and what's his first thought? Gotta get that Mario. His second thought, I should design a set of challenges that steadily increments in difficulty for Mario to deal with. That's dedication, that's determination. Steve doesn't have any of that drive. He just goes without food for a day and then he keels over on the ground. And even if you're some kind of a speedrunner, that's not really the canon Steve. That's not the Steve we all know, the lazy Steve who doesn't do things like that, the Steve who just switches on creative mode. That's the Steve that I know, and that's the Steve that Sakurai put into Smash Bros. And I know everyone already agrees with me, but I just need to say that Bowser Jr. is so much better than that. Again, he has more determination than Steve. So that's it. There's only one thing left blocking Bowser Jr. from his throne. Strength. And that doesn't matter though. Bowser Jr. is so much stronger than Steve that it isn't funny. We talked about it at the start of the video, remember? Remember? Okay, let's go through it again. Bowser Jr.'s up air ladders are better than Steve's. Bowser Jr. gets minecart all the time. It has armor. Bowser Jr. gets to drop TNT as his recovery. Bowser Jr.'s tools are made of metal, and he doesn't even have to mine. I know everyone agrees with me. Bowser Jr. is strong. Everyone knows that Bowser Jr. is stronger than Steve. Bowser Jr. is better than Steve. He's better. He's better. He has to be better. Bowser Jr. is better. Everyone agrees. Everyone knows.
Yeah, definitely going to set us up to a last stock scenario. You got to look out for those blocks as well, because now back there not available as a kill option in the center stage. And we are in the house. Get out